Hey guys, so as promised, here is my Epoch Guardian from Roshpit Champions. My Epoch Guardian is definitely my most optimized character out of all my Roshpit Champions characters, and he's definitely my favorite by far. The gear I've got on him, it took me quite a while to get, but I'll just run through my build, how to play him, and the kind of gear that you'd be looking for, and then I'll give you an example dungeon as well. So jumping straight in, Epoch Guardian is probably, in my opinion, one of the most powerful and the most fun heroes to play in Roshpit Champions at the moment. His abilities combined and his runes and the glyphs and the gear you get on him, he's pretty much unstoppable. The only thing that really kills him is if you stand right in the face of a lightning paragon at the moment. But if you're not going to do that, then he's very, very powerful and could actually solo legend, provided there was no lightning paragon, as is the case with probably a lot of other legend ready heroes at the moment. So the runes you were looking for in this one, obviously, as you can see, I've got 580 points in Guardian of Ages. Now I get all of that from my weapon here, and a little bit from my gloves, my master gloves as well. But the reason you want Guardian of Ages is not for the health regen, it is for this, it's for Tides of Time. So Guardian of Ages, each point of health and mana restored gives you attack damage. So as you can see here, I am chilling with 11,000 attack damage, not that impressive at all. Then I cast myself a nice little ultimate there, suddenly I'm at 1.5 million damage, and then I do Distortion Orb, and that gets doubled as well from this bad boy here at Time's Eye. So very, very powerful. Now another important thing to note is I have 120 points in Time Bend. Now basically, if you can work it out, Time Bend makes you immune to physical damage, Armor of the Secret Temple makes you immune to magical damage because you're never getting hit by physical attacks. So technically, Armor of the Secret Temple will just give you 7 charges of magic immunity. Now as long as you're not getting hit by anything other than magic, you're pretty much golden. As you can see here, 7 instances of refraction, and I've got a heap of Time Bend, which I'm getting all from my Odin helmet here. The other thing to notice is I've gone for all agility. Everything has agility on it. Again, the reason for that is because I've gone pure Guardian of Ages. All my damage comes from Guardian of Ages. It would be absolutely pointless to get any intellect, just because it wouldn't add any more damage compared to what I'm getting from Guardian of Ages. So the reason I got agility is so I can get my attack speed down to what seems to be the minimum of 0.17 attacks per second. Going through my gear, now this is completely optimized gear. The reason I'm wearing the Sanj boots, not the Yasha boots, I was wearing the Yasha boots at one point in time when my gear wasn't so optimized, just to get my attack speed down a little bit lower. But I actually did the other day manage to get, I re-rolled my Odin helmet to agility, it was strength before, and then I've got quite lucky drops on these other pieces here, having quite a lot of agility, which has naturally brought me to 0.17 without the Yasha boots. So the Sanj boots are just there to give me a little bit of health and obviously push me over the attack speed cap. So if you don't have attack speed cap at the moment, I'd probably recommend Yasha boots, but otherwise Sanj boots if you have agility on everything. Now obviously the weapon you'll be looking for is a GA weapon. I wouldn't be too upset if you got a GA weapon and with that had Distortion Rift on it as well, but you'd want something with at least 30 GA. Now my weapon only has 34 GA, I've got a friend that's got a weapon with 40 GA, but really anything more than 30 you'll be able to kill everything, no problems whatsoever. Now Armor of the Secret Temple is absolutely essential. It wouldn't matter if it had no stats on it whatsoever, any Armor of the Secret Temple is going to be better than nothing. Obviously like I mentioned before, because you want to be able to keep Armor of the Secret Temple up while you've got your physical immunity, which gets you 7 instances of magic immunity. Now, the reason I went for Odin Helmet, in the first instance I went for Odin Helmet because I had 100 Time Bend, which I thought was really cool because that means I could just have physical immunity all day, every day. 20 seconds is a little bit overkill, 24.7 seconds. But it just allows for a little bit of error. Like if you get hit by a stun or if you get hit, I don't know, you're immobilized, something stops you from casting your ultimate, having that little bit of extra time just to be able to get it up again is quite essential in my opinion. And also, the Odin helmet gives you 5% chance of dealing 20 times damage. That could be from your right clicks, that could be from your Distortion Orb. I've got 96 points in Distortion Orb from the Fractional Enhancement Geode, which is very sexy. As you can see, there's a huge cone of orbs going out there, and each orb has a chance of dealing 20 times damage, which is very, very nice. And also, with the ultimate up, this talent here increases the damage of Distortion Rift based on 400% of your attack damage. So, I don't know, work it out. It's a lot of damage. It's definitely worth having. Now the Master Gloves, I did used to use Power Ranger gloves to give me more right click, but then I thought, why not get some Master Gloves, because it gives a little Guardian of Ages, which increased my damage by a little bit, but most importantly, it gave me over 100 points in Time Lock. Now, Time Lock, again, is very sexy, very good for those very difficult Paragon mobs that are going to take a while to kill. You just bring so much utility, being 100% physical immune, being a little bit magic immune from your secret temple, and being able to stun anything for 25 seconds at a time. It's just so overpowered, I just wouldn't give it up for a little bit more damage, because as you'll see when I do a run in a minute, it's just absolutely pointless having that extra damage when you can stun forever and the damage your distortion orbs do. Now the last item is a little bit interesting, the Fractional Enhancement Geode. I wasn't too sure when I first started with this one. I wasn't sure if it was going to be good or not, but how it kind of worked out is I was sitting there plugging away at a Paragon mob, its health wasn't going down at all, and my friend said, hey, why don't we try that new item, Enhancement Geode, see what it does. So he went to his stash, gave me the Geode, I put it on just for a laugh, and then I did a Distortion Orb, and the mob almost died instantly. So I was completely convinced from the second of equipping it that it was going to be the best item to have. Now, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure this is why it's so good. The reason I have so much Distortion Rift, I didn't really have much before, is because it does such little damage. Now, the Fractional Enhancement Geode, when I say such little damage, it'll kill all the little crappy trash mobs, but I'm talking Paragon mobs. If you get a really big Paragon mob with a lot of health, if you deal damage less than 0.2% of the target's max health, it'll increase the damage by 20. Now that is heaps. If you have 96 orbs being fired in a cone towards a Paragon mob with billions of HP, each little orb is going to do 20 times damage, and each one of those little orbs has a 5% chance to do another 20 times damage. So it's a 20 times 20 on 5% of the orbs that land on your big mob, which is very sexy. The last thing to go through obviously is just the glyphs. The glyphs I've got is the Time Bind, Time Bound links take 50% increased damage from all sources, that's just your Q there. Glyph is substituted time. Basically this one, it just means you're getting 300% extra damage for free on mobs that take a long time to kill, which is also again very sexy. So I can't be bothered doing the math, but look, 1.5 million time, and then another 1.5 million times 3, that's how much damage you're going to have if you're sitting there hitting a mob with a shitload of health. Now the last glyph is just GA is duplicated. That's a bit of a no-brainer. Instead of getting 580 GA, you'll get over 1000 GA every single time you cast your ulti, which results in this damage here. Very, very sexy. So that's pretty much it. Everything else is pretty much self-explanatory. If you just get these points, if you're going to build your own Epoch Guardian, I guess the priority, starting off would be GA, Distortion Rift, Time Bend. You definitely want this as soon as possible, because these two together make your character very powerful. These three actually, in the early game, you'll have no problems going through the game. You want to get a couple of points in that to get yourself some cleave. You want points in that, obviously points in that. Everything else is kind of optional. Once you have like all these here, you're pretty much unstoppable. These you don't really need any of this. It's just I have lots of spare points, as you can see. And W is completely useless. I never press W. Absolute waste of space. So what I'll do is I will go to Skeleton Man. So hopefully we don't run into too much trouble going to Skeleton Man. Normally if I'm in a group, I'll just run through the whole instance and pull it all and stun all the Paragons and let everyone else clean up. We'll see how we go. So what you want to do, start by channeling your ulti, just so you get your secret temple up, do a little E, just kind of walk through everything here. As you can see, everything has been melted. Hopefully I can find a Paragon mob in a second to show you. Distortion Orb is just so powerful. You want to always keep your Eternity Flood up, because that's where all your damage comes from. I'm just going to pull everything. Or maybe I won't, there's Paragon mob here. So as you can see, I'm not really doing that much damage. Pop my ulti, put a Q on him, and we'll see what happens. So, Distortion Orb probably did, I don't know, a quarter of his health maybe, a fifth of his health. This will have no problem clearing him out. So it's very, very powerful, and the only reason it's doing that much damage is because of the Fractional Enhancement Geode. Before I had the Geode, it was literally doing nothing. It would tickle him. Absolutely no point casting it to get your Time Bend up. But on the even bigger mobs, it's even more apparent how much damage it does. Hopefully this one's not lightning. Oh, so there's a lightning one there. I want to get away from that.
I bring you news. You come to a bad end.
Didn't even really use any spells. I've been in a bit of trouble here. The lightning man comes. So getting in the center of him and using my distortion orb absolutely wrecked him. No problems whatsoever. And it goes the same with all the bosses in this game. If you can get in the center of them and cast an ultimate and pull him into the center and then cast an E, you can have no problems killing absolutely everything. So this is where I run into trouble though, if there's a big group of lightning mobs.
I'm not ready.
Hopefully I'll just be able to pick them off one at a time.
Yes.
We're all stunned as well. Maybe I'll go for a cheeky close range. Yeah, see, I'll one-shot that guy, very sexy. Oh, we've got Mr. Lightning Man down here. He's been stunned for half the game. Oh, this could be bad. This is the only problem I have with these guys. This is where you need a party. As long as he doesn't have any regen, you can only get a few attacks on him. Whoop. It's close.
Darkness advances.
I'm gonna be here a while. Might even just die. Yeah, I can't bother, I'm just gonna leave him. So there you go. Obviously Epoch Guardian's much better in a group, but he does have the capability of soloing. There are a few instances in the game that you can't really solo, and obviously you run into some trouble if you hit those lightning paragon mobs, but otherwise you have all the utility you need to be a very powerful solo hero. If you have any more questions about the build, feel free to comment in the comment section below. I'll try to get those answered if there's anything I haven't covered here. Otherwise, that's pretty much it. It's very fun, very powerful, and then I'll be doing another video just shortly on my... what will I do? Oh, fuck me.